the horrific rape and murder of a 31-year-old trainee doctor in Kolkata's RG Kar Medical College and Hospital has created nationwide uproar, with people even terming it as Nirbhaya 2.0. New information that is surfacing every day is revealing even more horrific and gruesome details in the case. According to the several reports, the family members of the deceased doctor have revealed the unsettling condition in which they saw the body. A relative of hers reportedly said that her legs were spread 90 degrees apart and she had no clothes on her body. The relatives also alleged that they were asked to wait for 3 hours before they were allowed to see the dead body. Meanwhile, the CBI team has taken custody of the accused, and Sanjay Roy, who is a civic volunteer, has been interrogated. The team, along with the forensic team, visited the RG Kar Medical College where the rape and murder took place. Now, this incident brings a big question about the age-old discussion of women's safety and protection. And in wake of this incident, we need to at this time hold a conversation that what is going to ensure that women in our country or women across the globe are safe and secure and protected. Is it going to be a number of laws and amendments that will be made to the laws that will ensure the safety of women, that will ensure that women are not raped and murdered? Is it going to be the strict guidelines and rules that will have to be adhered by schools and colleges and offices and other institutions to ensure that women are protected? Or is there a need to do something drastically different, something radical, to ensure that the safety of women is in their hands and they are the sole individuals who can then be able to protect themselves in situations such as this, and several hundreds and thousands of them that we come to witness on a regular basis. And here lies my contention about if a proposition of the sort could be taken forth by the government of India as a policy to allow for women particularly to be given licenses for guns. Yes. Now, a license for owning a gun in our country is reserved for a small section of people for self-defense, of course. There are stringent regulations and rules that have to be followed for an individual to get a gun in our country. But can there be certain rules, certain guidelines to follow, and when it comes to giving those permissions for licenses of guns to women, can there be rules changed and modified to that effect? Let's start this conversation. Joining me on the telecast is Joyita Basu, and let's hear it from you, Joyita, about this. I mean, do you think drastic situations call for drastic measures? And this is one such incident, one such incident too many, to then for us to think and ponder hard, and the need for taking a drastic action as drastic as perhaps providing guns to women.
Well, first of all, perhaps we can always try to, fix our law and order system, fix accountability before we start thinking things drastically. I mean, of course, certain basic rules that need to be in place. For example, it's actually a matter of workplace safety. Will you like women to come to office with guns in their purses? I'm certain that's not the case. In fact, I personally am against this, carrying, because you see, when it comes to guns, there could be misuse, there could be so many other ways. So instead of that, why not let us talk about ensuring workplace safety, especially for women who are working night shifts and all, like, ensuring that they get to go back home. I mean, without any interference from the outside world. Women should not be taking cabs late at night. The office should make it mandatory to provide them cabs. There should be a security guard.
There is a woman who is walking on broad daylight and she's minding her business and she's been raped. Talk about Nirbhaya. She was with a male friend. She went to the cinema, watched the movie. It was not too late in the night, 7 p.m. They boarded the bus. And look at what happened to her. So what are you talking about? When we say there's a woman on the street, whose responsibility is it to safeguard her, to protect her? Yes, there are police forces that are involved. There are government policies that have been put in place. But to what extent are they going to be helpful in this regard?
So,
Not to mention, when you talk about the misuse of guns, I could give an argument that there's the internet that is misused, there are the mobile phones that are misused, but can there be an inclusion in our country for making gun use for women's safety particularly a common occurrence and a huge deterrence?
well, I don't see, 70 million, 700 million women going around with guns. That calls for total anarchy. It does not work like that. You need to fix your system, you need to fix your society. Why should such a situation arise that the women will have to carry guns in their purse? That is a total collapse. That signifies a complete collapse of law and order. While these incidents are absolutely heinous and all, you mean to say this girl who was having dinner with her friends, she would be, distrustful of the men she was with, that she would have been carrying a gun in her purse in that college? Wasn't it the responsibility of the authorities, of the principal, to ensure that, this situation never arose? Why is that's an extreme measure. I don't think it works like that.
Like I said, drastic measures, extreme measures perhaps need to be taken for drastic situations, heinous crimes such as these. I'm going to come to Taira Hassan. Taira Hassan, the gun system is prevalent in United States of America as well. And there are a number of cons to it. We see that on a regular basis, children being killed, youth being killed. There are shooters that enter into schools and into malls and just go about on a rampage. How do you think can India as a country accept the concept of having guns at their disposal for self-defense?
No, I don't think so, that this will solve the problem or curb the violence against the women, because after Nirbhaya, the District Verma Committee was constituted. After that, we have very strong law. All women rights activists gave the inputs, and all the inputs were taken by Justice Verma. So I think that should be implemented properly. Laws are not implemented properly. Conviction rate is not increased, that is decreasing from 1975 to now, till now. It is decreasing. And the convict, they don't have any fear in taking the laws in their hand. They are so fearless. The person like Ram Rahim, who is convicted, who violated the women's body, raped 2 of his disciples, and he is roaming around. He gets the parole. These type of person, if they get the parole and they will come out, don't you think that they will harass the witness? That's why it was said in the Justice Verma committee that the redressal of such cases, rarest to rare one. This is also the Kolkata one is the rarest to rare one, where the girl was on duty. She was doctor. She was saving the life of the people. And why should not the hospital, government-run hospital, state-run hospital should take the responsibility? Why there was no safety for this young doctor? How this non-clinical person visited to the doctor's room? How this happened? Why the CCTV cameras all that were not working? If working, then find out why he used to come every day.
Yes, fair enough. And I think every single time there is a rape that happens in our country and that grabs national headlines, we come back to the drawing board and we say, why did the CCTV camera not work? Why were the safety norms not in practice? Why was the principal negligent for women's safety, and so on and so forth? But my point is, the crime has happened, the woman is already dead, the rape has already occurred, and then you're going to, split milk over this.
No, we should come on one platform and demand that implement all the laws, increase conviction rate. Once the conviction rate will be increased, there will be fear in these culprits to take the law in their hand. They can't dare to violate the women body. Nothing could be more heinous crime than violating women body.
Okay.
So this should be taken seriously.
Okay.
When the women is raped, you know.
But we take it seriously. Everybody takes it seriously. The politicians come out and say this is gruesome and this is heinous, and we are apologetic that this has happened, and everybody takes it seriously. Everybody seems to be taking it seriously, but I don't know. I don't know in reality, is it in practice, is it really being taken seriously? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, measures need to be taken when extreme incidents such as these happen. Nirmal Kaul, who's the former DGP of Jharkhand, also on the telecast with me. Nirmal Kaul, self-defense, how important does it become? Keeping in mind, I think it's the law of nature. And unfortunately, it seems like in a civil society as well, the law of jungle is applying. It mustn't, but it does. The physically powerful prey on the weaker. And that's what it is. And for the weaker gender to protect themselves, there has to be some sort of I don't know. In the end of the day, you have the rules, you have the laws, but at that very point of time, when an individual who's overpowering a lesser powerful, a weaker person right there, and he doesn't care whether he's going to go to jail, whether he's going to have a death sentence, or whether he's going to be put behind bars for eternity. At that moment, it is just that very desire to feel powerful on the other person that allows him to do that act. And therefore, there has to be, at that time, a provision provided to the individual, to the one who's being preyed upon, to act and to have everything in her with her, to ensure that she is best capable of safeguarding herself and not rely on anybody else.
Definitely, that is the thing, you know. All women should be taught self-defense, unarmed combat and all, which I think is a better version of guns, because guns is a separate chapter altogether and will really let loose Pandora's box and a lot of discussion, debate, and not really coming in near future. So unarmed combat, every girl, every woman should know. Self-defense, what to do, a pepper spray, and if you are sleeping, like if this girl is sleeping in the seminar room, she should have seen to it. I
mean, what does pepper spray really do? I mean, there are men who are now carrying pepper spray to attack their prey.
So, you know, please allow me to finish. The thing I was going to say is that self-defense is one part. But what this incident reflects is a systemic failure. This guy is a civic defense volunteer. That means he's some kind of a police officer, a contractual employee of the police in disaster management or wherever he is. You know how much they are getting paid? 8 to 10,000 rupees per month. And what is he doing? He's a tout. And I'm sure he has strong political linkage. Police can't even throw them out. They come in through the political parvies. And then they manage the traffic, they do anything. 8 to 10,000 rupees a month. You can guess where they are getting their money from. This guy was apparently getting beds in the hospitals, ensuring admissions, charging for that. And what was he doing in the hospital? Why was he sleeping in the police barracks? Their uniform looks so close to the uniform of the police. And they are all there, you know, it's a systemic failure through and through. You know, self-defense, of course, is a very important part. But also we have to have a 360-degree view. How was he freely roaming around the hospital? Hospital is a very public place, a very sacred institution. You know, emergency, this girl is on emergency duty. And if there's a place for them to rest when there's no duty, that place should be safe for women. If they are women or men, for everyone. How can you, I mean, hospital is supposed to work 24/7. Night is not night in the hospital. If somebody comes at night, they will not refuse saying that come at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So it is a 24/7 working place, and security should be ensured 24/7, especially so at, when the footfall is less, like the night hours. And that is totally failed. And today we saw all over the media that they are carrying on with some renovation work in the next room. And there's also a lot of talk that CCTV footage has been tampered with.
Yes.
They are also talking of the political connections of this accused. And also doctors are going around that it seems to be the work of more than one. I've also heard on the TV a doctor talking that the bodily fluid being found, semen and all that, it is more than one DNA. That means perhaps the involvement of more than one person.
Yes.
Total systemic failure. Here you can't say it is because the girl did not know unarmed combat or did not have a gun. The whole
No,
system has
that's a
failed her.
systemic challenge.
The whole system has failed her.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Shamsharvish, how do you solve this menace? How do you solve these crimes that keep taking place? Because I'm at my wit's end, and I have had numerous debates with all of you as my panelists in speaking out against such heinous crimes and the culprits. What do you think is the solution? As a woman, what must be done?
Look, as every other speaker has said, that the system was not proper, agree. The law is not implemented, we agree. But law is there. Things have been happening after Nirbhaya case. Now we also have death sentence. But the point is that men are especially not scared. These criminals, we will not call them men. These criminals, they are not
He's
Hindu.
a psychopath, obviously.
Psychopath.
They are psychos, and they are not scared of law. So the only answer to it is castration. Someone has to understand that, chop them off. Castration, you look at your neighboring country, they have prostitutes there. So in the Saudi also you have prostitutes. If at all you want sex, go to them. But you cannot touch a lady without her own permission. That is the law over there. If you touch, straight away castration. Looking at that law and looking at the crime rate of rape in that country, you will get to know that that is the need of the hour now. If you say that having a gun will actually solve the problem, no, it cannot. Why? Because anger is something that actually triggers you, and even if it is not for self defense, it might be for something else. Someone will just pull the gun and then shoot. That is how anger comes up, and the perfect example is Tandoor murder case that had happened in a 98 or something. So gun is not the answer, but yes, government needs to understand that legalizing prostitution is again one of the very important part. All right. Second thing, stop blaming a lady कि ये तो तुम्हारे वजह से. No, it's not any girl's fault. It's even a small infant has been raped. So we have to stop talking about that.
Yeah.
Third thing, we all have to make sure that the government has to make it clear that from your day one of the school, from the class first till your 12th or till your college, self-defense should be taught in the school. The boxing, karate, everything should be a part of your education system.
That's a
And in school you have to-
long, dreary way ahead. Road ahead for
Because somewhere you have to start.
bear the
Imagine-
fruit. Yeah, I agree. To bear the fruit of all the actions and hard work that you put in. Yes. Joyita,
we are actually still there. Nothing has changed since
No, it
2013 till date. Nothing is happening. So government really needs to understand that castration should come up, and there should be a court wherein within a month a judgment should come out in a rape case.
Okay.
Case
Okay,
like
all right.
rape pending from past 10 years and then nothing happens. And once a person goes behind the bars, you sit among the top shot persons who have killed, murdered, everything. So they actually guide you that what all you can do in your case. So once you enter the jail, you know more about your case, how to change it, how to manipulate it. So it is the problem with the courts, with the governments. 1 month is more than enough. If I
Okay.
say that someone has raped, there is semen, there is few proofs, do it then that and bring a judgment out. Please.
Joyita, how do you view, another example of, extreme crime that needs extreme measures to rectify? Shamsharvish talking about public castration and taking a look at the crime rates of sexual harassment in countries which have this law in place and is practiced. What are your views on it?
I think,
you know, what we need to do is, what happens in these cases is that this get delayed and delayed and delayed for years, and ultimately what happens, I mean, basically it's a classic case of justice delayed is justice denied. There has to be a closure to the case ASAP. First of all, there has to be a proper investigation, because right now we do not even understand, or there is a suspicion of major cover-up that has happened. So get to the bottom of it. Find out whether the police has kind of, there has been any tampering with the evidence, possibly there has been. Find the culprits, immediately you have to go through the court process without delaying it for years, and death penalty. As far as I am concerned, this case calls for death penalty. And for extreme cases, there has to be extreme punishment, and it has to be publicly told, the world has to be told that yes, in a manner that no one ever dares to commit such a crime. Death penalty is the only recourse in this case, I would say.
And death penalty was also awarded to the Nirbhaya culprits. But Tahira Hassan, we all saw how long it took. I'll come to you. How long it took for the law to bring them to justice. There were so many loopholes that they kept using to defer their death penalties.
I just salute Asha ji. She's really a brave lady. Just she took the head on with these, all the system loops and all. So, but I think that first thing is this, I believe that we must fight and talk against this, the culture that protect the rapists. We have seen in the Hathras case, when that had happened, that lots of voices were coming from the political class and other classes also, that these type of girls are found in Ganna ka khet, Arhar ka khet. I mean, what is this? Character assassination starts of the women. If the women is raped, this means her dress code is blamed, her food habit is blamed, her lifestyle is blamed. So first fight against this, that people, if they are from political class, take the action, because these are the people who make the law. Then how the law will be implemented?
Okay.
We have very, very strong law after, again I will repeat, after Justice Verma Committee constituted, after Nirbhaya, we have very strong law. That should be implemented. 3,000
my point stays, rapes happen not just in our country, they happen across the globe. They have been happening for centuries together. There was in fact an incident that was documented in Mahabharata, the Cheer Haran of Draupadi. That was sexual harassment. That was sexual harassment. So I'm saying rapes happen across the globe, have been happening for centuries together. What do we do about it? That's my larger conversation over here. Shams Sharif, you want to make a point?
Yes, after Nirbhaya case, rarest of rare cases only get death sentence. Rarest of rare means if I rape and I murder, that might fall under the rarest of rare case, but it's not.
This is rarest to rare.
No, let me complete, ma'am. If it is a brutal murder, only then it falls under rarest of rare case. If I rape and then murder, it does not fall under rarest of rare case. So our point is that rape should not happen at all. So if you want that to happen, so in rape, it starts from 7 years to life. So that is something which these men, these psychopaths think ho jayega ya jail mein dekhenge. That is what the problem is. So rarest of rare cases mein hi death milna chahiye, aisa nahi hai. Every rape case should get a death sentence.
Okay.
It's not only about rarest of rare cases.
Okay, fair enough. Quickly, I'm wrapping this up. Nirmal Kaur, how do you have to react to my panelists' observations and suggestions?
I feel, that the police also needs to tighten its, they need to run a tight ship. What they are doing, they are the they're volunteers, civic volunteer, some kind of a para-law enforcement person has done it. They should have been, open to the thing, he's a psychopath, obviously. I'm sure his states must have come to light before also. Maybe this is not even the first crime he's committed. And they need to keep their eyes and ears open. If he's a wrong person who's entered even in the contractual employment of police, he should be thrown out. He should have been thrown out. Because obviously these people send all kinds of signals. It is not only that the first time he's a psychopathic person, it's so obvious to us, even in reading from the media or watching the pictures in the media. So it would have been surely obvious to anyone who came across him. I don't know. I'm sure it's the political patronage or something which is making them continue with such a person.
Okay.
And I feel, that the system needs to be spruced up. The whole criminal justice system, beginning with the police, the courts. So many times, as in Chawla rape case, we saw everything is good. Chawla, which is even worse than Nirbhaya, and at the Supreme Court level, they were all let off. And all they wanted was the death sentence to be commuted to life sentence. And the Supreme Court was so happy over them, and that they let them all off scot-free, honorably discharged. So this is what the courts are doing. We need to sensitize all parts of criminal justice system. And also we can't abdicate our safety to some outsider. Lots of young girls, including my own daughter, they argue with me. What is it? The society, we can go out at night. We want to be out at 2 a.m. Okay, do go out. But also at the same time, take proper precautions. Be in a group. It's always safer in the crowds. Bolt your doors from inside. Lock your car. There are lots of small things which go a long way.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.